All right, guys, so this is a bad idea, and it's probably something that's going to cause a fast food crisis. Granted, fast food's not the best way to go about your diet, okay? So if you're trying to get the ripped abs this summer, I'd probably walk away from that. But we can't forget about the many people who rely on these fast food chains for their jobs, right? Now, we saw the likes of McDonald's, Chipotle, Pizza Hut, Starbucks, and a lot of these other chains being forced to adapt because of necessary changes that they had to make. Changes that some actually say were a really bad idea. It's also an idea that's affecting different places here at home, with a lot of experts predicting that this is going to cause a nationwide concern. Now, today, I want to discuss with you guys how this impacts you, and most importantly, how this is going to impact your wallets.
They've been making it great for 65 years, but some loyal customers say these new cuts are leaving them with a bad taste.
Now we have to be our own delivery driver, I guess.
Rogelia Salinas came to pick up pizza for her grandkids at this Pizza Hut in North Hollywood as the delivery wait was too long. But after learning it's being canceled altogether, she's disappointed.
It's sad. It's very sad and disappointing that these big companies, that are franchise are laying off the working middle class people that are trying to survive.
According to documents filed to the state, this Pizza Hut franchise and hundreds of others owned by two of the largest Pizza Hut franchises in California are laying off all their staff drivers, more than 1,000 in total.
For me, I'm sad because lost my days. I'm happy working at Pizza Hut because easy and happy.
Ishmael Angeles has delivered pizzas here for 10 years.
I'm sad because my working is a delivery driver, and then helping here inside.
According to the franchisees, the layoffs are due to a discontinuation of delivery services, but customers aren't buying it.
So I think when there's a minimum wage increase, they look for a way to mitigate costs, cut expenses.
Now, if you think about it, this is happening where? In California, right? But is it staying just in California? Not by a long shot, guys. What is it about California and their ideas, huh? I mean, they also thought about banning gas-powered cars, and now we got EVs stuck in the snow, right? You guys saw what happened with all those Teslas stuck during the polar vortex with dead batteries, right? But I digress. Let's go and get back to these wage hikes.
25 states and dozens of municipalities across the country are planning minimum wage increases in 2024, one as high as $20.29 an hour, far exceeding the current federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour set back in 2009.
Because of how rapid inflation has been the past couple of years, the minimum wage increases are keeping up with or slightly exceeding inflation in a lot of states now, actually.
But the bigger paychecks will come at a cost, especially at restaurants in California.
Your burrito costs $15 an hour. It's going to cost $17, I should say.
What's the ripple effect going to be?
Everyone else has to match, right? Because if you can work at McDonald's or Starbucks for $20 an hour, why would you stay at the kitchen at Olive Garden or even at Walmart?
Now, I get it. Fast food's not healthy at all, but the charm of a fast food chain is just that. It's literally fast food. You can drive on by, order your food, a few minutes later, a few minutes go by, and it's already sitting on your lap. It also wasn't nearly as pricey back then compared to today. I remember I used to be able to order like a #1 at McDonald's. It was like a Big Mac with like a large fry and a medium drink for like $2.99. Yeah, right. Not today. But now we're getting to a point where like consumers they're looking for places where they can get their money's worth. The problem now is that inflation's getting to a point where wage increases don't necessarily make that much of a dent on expenses, especially since, that could lead to even more price hikes on everything else. So it's actually just kind of gotten to a point where even the president of the United States was surprised at how much a smoothie is nowadays.
Last Friday, the president was at a coffee shop in Pennsylvania, and he seemed to be surprised that the smoothie was $6 and how expensive it was. I'm curious, so is the president now realizing the costs that Americans are bearing?
So look, when he went over to you all, to the press corps, he was having a good time, right? Offered up to as you know, offered up to buy them coffee. There was a big group there, and he made sure everyone got coffee and pastries. So I just want to make that really clear.
Now, I'm pretty sure that the president meant well with the gesture, and it seems like he bought them all coffee and food. But if he sees just how bad things are with costs, then what does it mean for Americans and businesses? How does an average household look at these expenses? Well, As far as the numbers go, Americans are paying an average of $1,020 more per month compared to the same time 2 years ago. And this added cost is probably going to drive a lot of customers away from chains like McDonald's and such, which also means less profit for them and less money to pay people with. So it looks like these wage increases may do more harm than good. And it's not even being implemented yet, guys. I think it's expected to go into play around April or something like that. So what happens then, right? Which now brings me to the health of the consumer. With the holidays now behind us, many are dreading what's in front of them. What's in front of them are mountains of debt, either through credit cards or those buy now, pay later plans. That Affirm deal that they got in Walmart now? Yeah, stuff like that.
New survey finds nearly half of all credit card holders in the U.S. are carrying a debt. According to Bankrate, 56 million people have been in debt for at least a year. The firm found that the number of Americans holding a balance on their cards from 1 month to the next has gone up a full 10 percentage points since 2021. So CBS Money Watch reporter Megan Sirlo is here to talk about this. So not too long ago, Vlad was mentioning earlier, we were talking about how everyone's got a surplus, they got all this money from the government because of the pandemic, they clean off their credit card debt, and then really quickly that turned around.
Right.
And suddenly we were in debt again. And now we're in debt so much that we got to talk about it. So what's driving the increase in credit card debt?
Consumers no longer have that padding, those reserves they built up during the pandemic. And simply put, people are making more purchases with their credit cards. It's not reckless spending, though. These aren't discretionary purchases that are contributing to debt. It's spending on emergency expenses like medical bills, car repairs, and the second most common driver of debt is spending on everyday necessities, groceries, childcare expenses, things like that.
So in essence, and this is something we talk about a lot, people are only paying, they're not paying down their balances, they're just paying the interest, which lines the pockets of the credit card companies or the banks, making them wealthier and richer while Americans either just keep their head above the water or in some cases sink if you can't make those payments.
We're now entering a new phase in self-awareness here in the country because it looks as if more and more households are preparing for the inevitable. I mean, look at this, guys. So a survey from New York Fed shows that many Americans would do if they suddenly got a 10% raise in their income. Would you believe that 38% of them said that they would actually use this money to pay down debt? Now, you would think that a great economy would have more and more people saying that they would probably spend it or at least put into their savings. But no, more and more households, they're looking at their debt and they know it's going to cost them big down the road. Only 16% of those who answered the survey said that they would either spend or donate this money, the lowest percentage since the Fed started tracking the data almost a decade ago. I mean, at this point, what does this tell you? Does it show a bustling economy that's given Americans the confidence to kind of go out and buy what they need and want? Or is it one that shows weakness where consumers are unsure as to how they're going to be able to catch up with all their expenses? And do you guys expect more of the country to kind of go along with these wage hikes and possibly cause a collapse in the fast food industry? Now, as always, I do my best to keep you guys informed and updated on what's really going on around us here and around the country and beyond. So anyway, before I go, I just want to thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for hitting the like button for the video. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.